All right. Well, welcome legislative members and members of the public. This is the committee to conduct an investigation into matters relating to reapportionment and redistricting in Nevada. Our committee policy analyst is going to do the roll call for us today. So let's go ahead and start with that. Mr. Stewart, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Benitez Thompson. Committee members for roll call. Senator Donyate.
Here.
Senator Goycochea.
Here.
Senator Lang.
Here.
Assemblyman Levitt.
Here.
Assemblywoman Miller.
Here.
And Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Here. Thank you so much, Mr. Stewart. So welcome to this first organizational meeting of the committee to conduct an investigation into matters relating to reapportionment and redistricting. I'm Assemblywoman Teresa Benitez Thompson, and I'm pleased to preside over the next two agenda items until we elect a chair and vice chair under agenda item number 3. At that time, we'll do introductions of the committee members and the staff. To all in attendance virtually, I thank you for being present with us today, for your interest and your participation, as well as I believe this is a very important study. Before we begin, I have a few brief housekeeping items to review for the benefit of those participating virtually or wishing to speak. Although we are meeting remotely, many of the procedures remain the same. Meeting materials can be accessed on the committee's webpage, and the material you see on the webpage is the same material that we as legislators on this committee see on the webpage. Anyone who would like to receive electronic notification and access to the committee's agendas, minutes, or final reports can sign up for them at the Nevada Legislature's website. We will have 2 periods of public comment today, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end of the meeting. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker and will be taken over the telephone. There are 4 ways to provide public comment, all of which are listed on the agenda. These include, first, calling 669-900-6833, then entering meeting ID 829-2122-1200, followed by the pound sign. Emailing comments to redistricting@lcb.state.nv.us, mailing comments to the Research Division at 401 South Carson Street, Carson City, Nevada, 89701, or faxing comments to 775-684-6400. As always, this meeting will be recorded and available on the legislature's website, and it's also available for live and archived viewing on the Nevada Legislature's new YouTube channel. Thank you for indulging me as we covered these housekeeping items. We can now move on to agenda item 2, which is public comment. So we'll now open the first period of public comment. Reminder that each speaker gets 3 minutes, and we will be keeping time to ensure that we are fair about those 3 minutes. We also encourage members of the public to submit written testimony via one of the methods listed on the agenda that we just reviewed. So LCB's broadcasting and production service staff are coordinating the public comments coming in through the telephone line. BPF staff, please add the first caller in for public comment.
Good afternoon, Assemblywoman. Your public line is currently open and working, and you have no callers at this time.
No callers at this time. Why don't we give it just a moment? I know there can be a little bit of a delay. So broadcasting, will you give us, let's do 2 minutes and then just check back in?
Absolutely, we'll be standing by.
Okay, members will just stand at ease at that for 2 minutes.
Assemblywoman, your public line is currently still open and working, and you have no callers at this time.
Okay, thank you so much. As a reminder to the public, we will be having another public comment session at the end of today's meeting, so you're welcome to call in at that time too. Now we're going to move on to agenda item number 3, election of the chair. Senate concurrent resolution number 13 of the 2021 legislative session, which creates this committee, requires the chair and vice chair to be elected from committee members at the first meeting. So at this time, I will welcome a nomination for chair of the committee. And looking at the gallery, Senator Lang.
Yes, thank you. I nominate Brittany Miller to be chair of this committee.
Very good. I second the motion. Hearing no other nominations, I believe I'll accept a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
So moved, and I think a second from Senator Donate there. So we'll go ahead. And we'll go ahead and have a vote then. Mr. Stewart, would it be appropriate to do a roll call vote?
Yes, Ms. Benitez Thompson. Yeah, perhaps entertaining a motion for the election of the chair, and then I can conduct a roll call vote after you've received your first and second.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. We need to do the motion. Okay. Thank you so much.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Just a question. I understand the chair is supposed to come from the assembly. Is that your understanding as well? Because the Senate did chair it in the last reapportionment.
I think that makes a lot of sense, Senator Gocochea.
I just wanted to make sure that was the decision. So it makes it a lot easier. Thank you.
Okay. So Mr. Stewart, just to clarify, we needed the motion to open nominations. Is that what you said?
Yes,
yeah, I think you were prompting me that I missed a spot, right?
That's okay. So yeah, so you open it up for a nomination for Assemblywoman Miller. We received the nomination. So now at this point, you can just take a motion to elect the chair from the committee.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. I think I got something out of order here. My apologies, but thank you so much. So we'll go ahead, and I'm willing to accept a motion. I think I see Senator Lang.
Yes, I move that we open the nominations and elect the chair of this committee.
Thank you so much, Senator Lang. I think I have a second from, I think I see Assemblywoman Miller.
I'll second.
So we have those nominations open. And so at this time, we'll accept any nominations, which I believe I heard Senator Lang with the nomination.
Right. And Ms. Demetrius Thompson, I can now do a roll call vote on that with a first from Senator Lang and a second from Ms. Miller. I can conduct a roll call if you wish.
Yes.
Okay. So roll call for chair of committee, Senator Donate.
Yes.
Senator Goycochea,
Yes.
Senator Lang,
Yes.
Assemblyman Levitt,
Yes.
Assemblywoman Miller,
Yes.
and Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson.
Yes. And thank you so much, Mr. Stewart. The motion passes. So congratulations to Assemblywoman Miller. I will now turn the virtual gavel over to you for the election of vice chair and to run the remainder of the meeting.
Thank you so much, Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson. I am proud to be handed the gavel, the virtual gavel, to chair this committee and appreciate everyone's confidence. Thank you. With that, I would like to open nominations for the vice chair of this committee. So do we have any nominations for the vice chair?
Would nominate Senator Lang.
Senator Goycochea, I do not, I see Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson. Would you like to nominate?
I'll second Senator Goycochea's motion.
Okay, did we all hear the motion?
That he motioned for Senator Lang to be vice chair. Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion to nominate Senator Lang as vice chair and a second from Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson. Are there any further nominations? Okay, not seeing any. I will take a motion to elect the vice chair so that Mr. Stewart can conduct a roll call vote.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson and a second from Senator Goycochea. Mr. Stewart?
Thank you, Chair Miller. Senator Donate,
Yes.
Senator Goycochea,
Yes. Is this coming through?
yes, it is. Okay. Senator Lang,
Yes.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson,
Yes.
Assemblyman Levitt,
Yes.
and Chair Miller.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. And with that, the motion passes. Congratulations, Senator Lang, on serving as vice chair of this committee. Before we go on to our next agenda item, I would just like to say a few words about the work that this committee, this interim study will conduct. Today's meeting is meant to be organizational and offer an opportunity for public input. Staff will go over the specifics of SCR 13 at our next meeting. In the meantime, please know that the primary purpose of this committee is to educate the public and legislators about the reapportionment and redistricting. Public input is so important, and we are eager and happy to hear from you. This process will be discussed, and again, the purpose is to give the public an opportunity to be heard on this topic, this vital, important topic. With that, I would like to congratulate all of the committee members to your appointment to this committee. And at this time, I would like to allow each committee member to briefly introduce themselves. So with that, we can start. Why don't we start with Vice Chair Lang?
Thank you, Chair Miller. I am Senator Lang. I represent Senate District 7 in Las Vegas. We can't hear you, Chair Miller.
Thank you for that. Senator Goycochea?
Well, good evening, Chairwoman Miller. I'm Senator Pete Goycochea, representing Senate District 19, predominantly rural, but also rural Clark County. Thank you.
Senator Donate?
Thank you so much, Chair Miller, and good evening to those in the public watching. My name is Fabian Donate, and I represent Senate District 10, which is in the center of Las Vegas, parts of the Las Vegas Strip, UNLV, McCarran Airport, and Central East Las Vegas. Honored to be a part of this process and looking forward to a good interim session soon.
Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson?
Yes, I'm Teresa Benitez Thompson. I represent Assembly District 27 up here in Northern Nevada, specifically. My district's entirely contained within the city limits of Reno. Well, actually, part of it is not. So city limits and Washoe County, my apologies. And this will be, I'm in my final year of serving, so year 11 of 12 that I'm constitutionally allotted, and thankful to the voters for having given me. And this will be my second time through redistricting.
And Assemblyman Levitt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Assemblyman Glenn Levitt, Assembly District 23, which is the southern tip of Nevada. Happy to be on this committee. Again, as I was on the interim committee for redistricting previously. So I'm grateful to be here.
And with that, I am Assemblywoman Brittany Miller. I represent Assembly District 5 in the mid-central southwest region of the Las Vegas Valley. Next, I'd like to quickly introduce our Legislative Council Bureau staff. We have Michael Stewart, Research Director, is serving as our Committee Policy Analyst. We also have Asher Killian, our Chief Deputy Legislative Counsel, who is serving as Committee Counsel. Samuel Quest, who is Senior Deputy Legislative Counsel, is serving as Committee Counsel as well. Haley Prawl is a Senior Policy Analyst and GIS Specialist. And Kathy, and I apologize already because I know I'm probably not pronouncing this correctly, Stenell, who is a Redistricting Specialist. They will be our two technical GIS and mapping software experts. We also have Stephen Jamison, Research Policy Analyst, who is serving as our Committee Secretary. And of course, finally, I'd like to extend a very warm thanks to our wonderful staff, our IT staff who conducts and keeps all of broadcasting and production services going, and for making these virtual meetings and virtual opportunities for the public possible. With that, I will move on to the next agenda item, which is agenda item 4, which is the scheduling of future meetings. The plan is to schedule a few more meetings that allow public input. So committee members, we could consider meetings between basically as many in October. So beginning maybe with the week of October 16th, we definitely want to have a few meetings. We want to make sure that we have a variety of locations and times and even days of the week to accommodate the public as much as possible. And also, this is to our legislative staff, if possible, we would like it to look into the feasibility of conducting a meeting in a tribal community as well. So with that, I will open a discussion about possible meeting dates. So if there's anyone that has any possible meeting dates.
Chair Miller?
Yes,
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if people could say any times that aren't good for them, so then we can take those off the table. And, or like we're doing this at 4:30, which is great for people that have jobs during the day. And if that is what we're going to do, or are we going to do weekends? I just like to get a little bit of clarity.
Yes, Vice Chair, what we're doing is we will have a variety of locations between the north and the south, as well as making sure we accommodate the rules. And if possible, if it's feasible, to be in a tribal community as well. With that being said, the goal is also to make sure that we have a variety of days of the week. So some should be a weekday, some should be a weekend, some should be during the day, some should be in the evening. And of course, all of them will have virtual capabilities as well. But I think the best right now, because what we discuss here tonight will still be ultimately determined by the overall schedule and feasibility, virtual feasibility. So we're not necessarily voting on that today. We will wait for that confirmation to come back from LCB once they look into feasibility. So I think at this point, we can, I know I have a few suggestions. If people want to throw us suggestions of dates out, then we can go from there once we hear back from LCB staff. Assemblywoman Thompson, yes, I see you. Would you like to make some suggestions of dates?
I was just going to say that I wanted to echo a piece of what Senator Lang said of making the meetings accessible to folks and focusing at least one of them on evening meetings, knowing that as a part-time legislature, some of us are working folks as well. And so evening weekends, weekends as well. And that other than the commitments I have for my other interim committees, that I'll try to move the schedule around as available to be available when the majority of the committee is available.
And I agree with that, Assemblywoman. At this point, this is, besides, as you state, the other committees, a priority. So I will make sure, but it's also a priority to make sure we're as accessible to the public. And that's why with the variety of dates and times and days and such. So with that, are there any suggestions for dates?
Madam Chair, this is Senator Goycochea. We do have IFC on the 21st for a number of us that will take it off the schedule. Then we've also got to consider the Nevada Day weekend. That will be a long weekend. We better kind of fit that in. And so other than that, again, I think most of us, it's our job and duty to make it work.
And I appreciate you bringing that up, Senator Goycochea, because when I'm looking at actually the Nevada Day weekend, and I know that that's a weekend that many people travel, and many people specifically will travel to Carson City for all the festivities. How would you feel about attaching maybe that Thursday? Because I know most of us will have that 3-day weekend. Would that Thursday be accommodating for, and maybe suggest Carson City? Do it Thursday the 28th, because many people will go to Carson City for that.
It works for me.
Okay, so with that discussion, can we make a recommendation on that date? It would work for me.
Madam Chair, I can make that work as well.
Okay. Senator Donate, Vice Chair Lang, Assemblyman Levitt, any thoughts? Okay.
Work for me.
Okay, great. So Mr. Stewart, if you could put that as one suggestion, Thursday, the 28th in Carson City, and possibly during the day could be a recommendation, maybe not so early in the morning, but sometime during the day, so that those of us that would have to fly up for it and give people travel time, other Nevadans that are traveling up to Carson City then.
We certainly could do that, Madam Chair. Perhaps considering maybe a early afternoon time slot, late morning sort of thing.
Sure.
Okay. That sounds great.
Do we have any other suggestions for dates?
So Chair Miller, I know that you teach school and you want to have time with your kids. It's really important that you be there. Are there times that work better in your schedule or not?
No, school is school. So school is school. And if I, just like always in my legislative service, if I need to take a day off, I take a day off. So we have one. I know I'm also looking at some weekends. We have, I think we definitely want to take opportunity of the weekends available in October. That would leave us Saturday, October 16th, Saturday, October 23rd. I think it's important that we definitely get a Saturday opportunity in there. And possibly, since we've already discussed Carson, maybe one here in Las Vegas.
And Chairwoman, this is Teresa Benitez Thompson. I'd be happy to travel down south for those meetings. If we decide to have multiple attendance days, then wherever you need me to be, if you want a Northern Nevada attendance location and a host there, as well as a Southern Nevada one, I'm willing to do whatever we need to make sure that it fits right.
And I appreciate that. And I'm the same way, traveling to Carson, traveling to wherever I need to throughout the state of Nevada. That's what will happen. So for looking at, I definitely don't want to miss Saturdays. Not the Saturday of Nevada weekend, of course, but Saturday, the 21st, I'm sorry, Saturday,
23rd.
Saturday, the 23rd.
Madam Chair, if there's no one with another preference, the 23rd would be easier logistically for whether I need to be in Northern Nevada or Southern Nevada. So I can make the 16th work as well, but the 23rd, if no one else, if all things being the same, then I'd prefer the 23rd.
Okay, Saturday, the 23rd. Anyone else have any discussion, or how does the 23rd look as a possibility? I see a thumbs up from Senator Donati, Senator Gochia, Senator Vice Chair Lang. Okay, Saturday, the 23rd is another possibility.
Madam Chair, would that be in Vegas or Carson? I assume, at least I will be in Carson on the 21st for IFC, and I'll be honest, we were kind of talking about maybe the 22nd, looking at some of that stuff. That'd be really great for me, right behind if we don't know the location for IFC yet, I don't believe. If it was going to be north, that would make it very good to, meet Friday, Saturday. But again, it's only 100 miles for me, whether I go north, south, or sideways. It doesn't make any difference. I'll go where you say to be.
And I think you bring up a very good point too, I think, and maybe that's an opportunity definitely because many of us are on IFC, to make sure that the locations, if possible, are in the same location, since we will have IFC and then this committee. So I think right now we were talking about Las Vegas, but I think let's get the date down and then see what we can do to coordinate those two to try to get them in the same location for everyone.
And Madam Chair, if I may, we could certainly make a primary meeting location, and then obviously wherever you want it, and then we could you do the video conference up north.
Certainly. What about, and that's a question for you, Mr. Stewart. When it comes to, when we're looking at ensuring that we have, can we look into some locations in any of our tribal communities or the rules, or both? And so can we throw, because can we throw out some dates for those? Does anyone have any other suggestions for dates that would be possible?
Madam Chair, if it helps, I have no other dates that are impossible or impossible. So I think that if we pulled the committee, depending on, especially if we wanted to focus on that one being in a rural community or having another kind of a host, we could leave that more flexible and pull members once we know what their ability would be for us to come in and use their space.
That absolutely works for me. Other members feel about.
Is it possible to do if we're having, when is IFC, on the 22nd or the 21st?
It's on the 21st.
So I'm wondering if we couldn't do a location on the 22nd and then go somewhere else on the 23rd. Like if we, and just partnered it together. Because I think as we start looking at our calendars in October, they're pretty full already.
I hear what you're saying. So you're saying we're on the road, we're traveling, we're just
let's go do it.
That works for me, Senator Gochia.
Madam Chair, I've got a conflict on the 22nd. I have a doctor's in Carson at 11:30, and I have to carve 30 minutes out there. Then I'll have to be able to drive to wherever you want to be. So let me know, but I do have a conflict on the 22nd. But
could we do the afternoon of the 22nd and then go somewhere else on the 23rd?
Yes, and you want to go to, do we want to go to Shores, Washoe? That would be workable for me.
So the evening or afternoon you would be available, Senator, is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And if, Madam Chair, if I may, I would note that the Legislative Commission just recently scheduled their meeting on October 22nd. We're talking about beginning at 1:30. So for those of you who are on Leg Commission, if that creates a conflict, that could be an issue. just wanted to give you a heads up on that.
Assemblywoman Thompson, are you on Ledge Committee? Ledge Commission?
I am not
Okay. I am not.
this time.
Okay. So that would be possible for another location, Friday, the 22nd in the late afternoon or evening.
We could look into that.
Thank you. And then I think we should just go with what Assemblywoman Benitez Thompson said, that leaving those next few weeks open, because especially as we're just knowing, being flexible for any possibilities that you're able to verify for us in a tribal community or another rural community. So if we'll wait for some dates and locations that you're able to confirm for us. Okay. So before we move on to the next agenda item, does anyone else have a suggestion for a date, location, time, anything like that? Okay, well.
Chair, just quick, I'm just running the thoughts. If we met someplace, Pyramid, Fernley, something like that, we can bring a lot of the Washoe tribe, the Shores, the Fallon, we can bring up and maybe even center it up someplace like in Fernley. And, again, I think really reach out to a bunch of people from rural Nevada.
Absolutely. Thank you for that suggestion, Senator. And I'm sure that the committee staff is hearing that and documenting it down to look into it. Thank you so much. So with that, why don't we go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is our staff presentation on public use of the My Districting Nevada application and submission of the proposed redistricting plans and committees of interest. We have Haley Proel, our senior policy analyst and GIS expert from LCB's research division, and she will give us a demonstration on the legislature's My Districting application. So, Ms. Proel, whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As was stated, my name is Haley Proel. I am a senior policy analyst and GIS specialist with the research division of the Legislative Council Bureau. Today, I will be presenting on My Districting Nevada, the legislature's public web-based redistricting application that members of the public can use to create and submit redistricting plans and communities of interest for the 2021 cycle. And I'm going to share my screen now so I can demonstrate the application and associated web pages as I present. So My Districting Nevada can be accessed through any device with an internet connection and to users who register for an account with an email address. The website address for the application is as follows: redistricting.leg.state.nv.us/legdistricting/Nevada. The link to the application is also available on the Get Involved tab of the legislature's Nevada Reapportionment and Redistricting 2021 website, which can be easily accessed from the legislature's homepage at leg.state.nv.us. In addition to access links to My Districting Nevada, the website also includes links to English and Spanish version user guides for the application. The user guides explain in depth how to use the application, as well as provide contact information for support. So My Districting Nevada has two main components: creating and submitting redistricting plans and creating and submitting communities of interest. When creating redistricting plans, users have the opportunity to create congressional, state senate, or state assembly plans and either share draft plans privately via link or download, or to share plans publicly by submitting them to the administrator. Submitted plans will be posted to the public plan list page for anyone to download, view, and comment on. Similarly, any submitted communities of interest will be posted to a public page for anyone to view. It's not required to have a My Districting Nevada login to view and comment on submitted plans or communities of interest. The public pages are available to anyone. A login is required, however, to create and submit a redistricting plan, which I'm going to walk through now. Once I've created a My Districting Nevada account and logged in, I first see the dashboard, which shows me how many plans I have created so far. The Plan Manager tab is where users can create new plans or open existing ones to continue editing. When creating a plan, there are a few import options to allow users to bring in other My Districting Nevada users' plans that have been shared, or plans created in other JS software programs or open source redistricting applications. To create a new blank plan or a new plan from existing districts, click Create Plan. Under plan types, there are 2 versions of a plan for each district type. The extended versions include political data fields in addition to the census data. If a user does not want to use political data when creating a plan, the regular plan types are available without the political data fields. And all plans include population counts for race, Hispanic or Latino origin, and voting age population. The number of districts auto-populates after the plan type is selected, and it cannot be changed. So if members of the public are interested in creating plans with a different number of districts, they can contact the administrator to set up a new template. Leaving the box checked next to start with a blank plan will create a new blank plan, and unchecking the box will create a plan with the current districts as a starting point. So the 2011 districts for the plan type will automatically load into the plan. Once a plan is opened from the Plan Manager tab, the user will then be operating in the Plan Editor tab. This is where plans can be edited by assigning either census blocks, precincts, or counties to districts. Select a district in the table to edit and toggle the assignment layer in the drop-down menu to switch between assigning census blocks, precincts, and counties. The plan overview on the left shows the overall plan deviation, which is the difference between the largest individual district deviation and the smallest individual district deviation. The district deviation is the difference between the proposed district population and the ideal district population if all districts were to have equal population. If a district is over or under the allowed deviation for a plan, the number and percent in the deviation column will be in red. So I won't be going into detail about how to edit plans, but more information can be found in the My Districting Nevada user guide, which can be accessed through the help button in the lower left at any time, and is also posted on the redistricting website. Once a user has a plan they're happy with, they can validate the plan through Plan Editor or through Plan Manager. If it passes the validation check, the plan can then be submitted for posting on the public plan list page. Valid plans are those that meet the individual district and overall plan deviation thresholds. They have all pieces of geography assigned to districts, and they have continuous districts. Also, when submitting a plan, there's an option to provide remarks that will be displayed along with the plan on the public plan list page. Once a plan is submitted, the status will update to submitted, and once it's approved by the administrator, the status will update to approved. Before submitting a plan, there are some share options under plan settings in Plan Manager. Plans can be shared with other My Districting users privately or exported as an XML file or shapefile that can then be shared over email. And if sharing with other My Districting users, there's an option for the plan creator to enable comments on a plan. Any sharing of submitted and approved plans can be done through the public plan list page, where plan comments will be enabled and the plan can be downloaded or shared via link. To view submitted plans, click on the plan list page link from the Get Involved tab or the District Plans tab on the redistricting website. So there are already 5 publicly submitted plans for congressional districts, and there is 1 submitted plan for assembly districts. This remark field includes the comments that were provided by the plan creator during the submission process. To view or comment on a submitted plan, click Open next to the plan. This will open a map viewer where members of the public can interact with the plan, view the data, and provide comments. Comments are tied to specific points on the map. So to add a comment, the user must first click within the map on the area they would like to leave a comment on, and then select dislike, opinion, or like, and fill out all the required fields. Once a comment is submitted and verified by the commenter through email, the comment will be listed in the right-hand panel, and it will be tagged on the map with a pin. Now I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about how members of the public can submit communities of interest. So going back to the Get Involved tab of the redistricting website, under the Citizen Input Communities of Interest section, there are links to submit a community interest and view all verified submissions. A community of interest as it relates to redistricting is typically a neighborhood, community, or group of people who share common interests and prefer to have their community preserved within a single district if possible. A community of interest can be a subdivision, city, neighborhood, or any geographic area defined and submitted for consideration. To submit a community of interest, simply open the link and click Add Community of Interest. Note that it is not required to have a My Districting Nevada account to submit a community of interest. Users will be prompted to draw a polygon boundary around their community of interest and enter a name and description for the community. They will also need to be verified through by the creator through an email before they appear on this public webpage. And as you can see, there are already 2 submitted communities of interest, and clicking on each one zooms to the area of interest for the community of interest. So communities of interest can be viewed from this link, or going back to the Get Involved tab on the redistricting website through View All Verified Submissions here. The public pages that house submitted plans and communities of interest are available for legislators, staff, and members of the public to view at any time throughout the redistricting process. Again, it's not required to have a My Districting Nevada account to view plans and communities of interest or to comment on plan proposals. Members of the public may also wish to share their proposed plan or community of interest under public comment to this committee at future meeting dates. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the database in My Districting Nevada, specifically the total population numbers. So Nevada is required by law to redistrict using data that reflects the reallocation of inmates to their last known residential address prior to incarceration, rather than the address of the facility in which they were incarcerated on census day, pursuant to AB 450 of the 2019 legislative session. Thus, the total population numbers in My Districting Nevada are different than the total population numbers provided by the US Census Bureau. The total population numbers in My Districting Nevada are those adjusted numbers from the inmate reallocation that are required by law to use for redistricting. And this adjusted population data is also available for download on the District Plans tab of the redistricting website and is provided in Excel format at the county, precinct, and census block levels. So in closing, if members of the public have any questions about My Districting Nevada, they can contact the administrator at admin.redistricting@lcb.state.nb.us. And the email address is also listed in the user guide. So that concludes my presentation, and I will now take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation, Ms. Prohl. Do we have any questions from any of the committee members? Senator Donate?
Thank you so much, Chair Miller. Really quick question. Very helpful directions that is going to be useful for the public to participate. I know in the beginning they mentioned that some of the directions were offered in English and Spanish, but is the legislature also be planning to translate that to other languages so other communities can participate?
Thank you, Senator Donate. At this time, we do not have plans to translate it into other languages, but if there are any suggestions to do so, we are open to that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. I don't believe I see any more questions. So with that, and again, thank you for that presentation. I will move on to our next agenda item, which is agenda item 6. And just some ideas about what our next topics regarding research and the next future meetings should be. I think we should review the requirements of SCR 13, which created this committee. These include discussions about the data the U.S. Census Bureau uses, a discussion of redistricting systems established, also recommendation for the use by the Nevada Legislature, and a review of relevant case law. And then, of course, an overview of programs or other states are using relating to redistricting. We may also want to consider a review of recommendations from the interim committee. I believe that was already suggested. So that worked from the last interim. And also, I understand that the University Board of Regents has approved a possible redistricting plan for their board. And we may want to ask them to review that plan with us as well. Committee members, do we have any other suggestions of related topics that you would want to have covered or addressed at upcoming meetings? Okay, again, I don't see any additional suggestions. So with that, we will move on to our final agenda item, which is again, our second opportunity for public comment. So with this, again, in the interest of time, we're asking everyone to limit their public comment to 3 minutes. And if anyone exceeds that, I will let you know when those 3 minutes are approaching. We will give the public a few minutes to call in again because we understand it takes a while between listening and actually dialing in. As a reminder, the call-in number is area code 669-900-6833. After you are connected, be sure to enter the meeting ID number, which is 829-2122-1200, followed by the #. So again, if we could wait 2 minutes and then broadcasting, please let us know after, give it 2 minutes and then we can begin with our public comment.
Thank you, Chair. We'll be standing by. Chair, your public line is currently open and working and you have no callers at this time.
Okay, thank you so much for that. We did provide opportunity at the beginning and end of the meeting for public comment. So with that, I will go ahead and move on to our final agenda item, which is adjournment, because I see no further business before us. So with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.